Forget every fluffy documentary you've ever seen. Forget the singing, the dancing, and the Hollywood animations. If you were born as an Adelie penguin, you weren't born into a fairy tale. You were born into a cold, relentless war zone. You are 5 kilograms of concentrated spite, wrapped in a tuxedo that's seen too much. You stand barely 70 centimeters tall, yet you carry yourself with the unearned confidence of a heavyweight champion. Welcome to Antarctica, the most unforgiving stage on Earth, where you are the lead actor in its darkest comedy. This isn't just a continent, it's a giant white freezer designed to kill anything that breathes. And you are a biological anomaly, a feathered gladiator that has traded the sky for the deep, dark pressure of the Southern Ocean. To survive here, you had to become the ultimate pragmatist. You are not a bird, you are a survivor. Your life is a constant cycle of what I call the 3 S's: stealing, shoving, and surviving. Let's start with your home. In a land of infinite ice, the only currency that matters is pebbles. Dry stones are the gold, the oil, and the Bitcoin of the Adelie world. Without them, your nest is just a puddle. Your eggs will freeze in the slush, and your entire bloodline ends before it begins. But there's a problem. There are never enough stones. This is where your career in organized crime begins. You don't just look for stones. That's a waste of calories. You wait. You watch your neighbor. Let's call him Kevin. Kevin is an idiot, but he's a hard-working idiot. He just found a beautiful, smooth granite pebble. He's proud. He turns his back for 1 split second to sing a love song to his mate, and bam, that stone is yours. You don't run. Running attracts attention. You walk away with a casual, rhythmic waddle, looking at the sky as if you've suddenly become interested in meteorology. If Kevin catches you, it's not a polite disagreement. It's a Victorian bar fight. You use your flippers, which are not wings, but solid, bone-dense clubs, to strike at 30 hits per second. You scream, you peck, and you slap until someone's ego is bruised enough to leave. In an Adelie colony, honesty is just a lack of opportunity. You aren't building a nest, you're managing a heist. It is a world of constant noise, where every interaction is a negotiation of space and status. You spend your days defending a circle of dirt only a few inches wider than your body, arguing with neighbors and trying to keep your chick alive while the Antarctic wind tries to turn it into a popsicle. It is an exhausting, brutal, and noisy existence. There is never a moment of silence. You are a gear in a machine that never stops grinding. Eventually, hunger becomes stronger than greed. You and 500 of your associates march down to the edge of a massive ice shelf. This is the moment of truth. Below you, the Southern Ocean is a buffet of nutritious krill, but the entrance fee is high. Somewhere in that dark water, a leopard seal is waiting. He's 3 meters of muscle and teeth, and to him, you are just a penguin Happy Meal. The scene at the edge is a masterpiece of Darwinian pragmatism. No one wants to be the test subject. You all stand there, shoulder to shoulder, peering over the edge. You nudge, you bump, you lean. You're all waiting for one clumsy, unsuspecting loser to get pushed over. You watch him fall. Splash. You all freeze. Hundreds of little heads tilt, staring at the ripples. You're counting the seconds. If the water stays blue, you all dive in like a chaotic black and white waterfall. But if the water turns red, you all turn around in perfect unison and go back to your nests. It's not personal, it's just the cost of doing business. Once you are in the water, you transform. On land, you are a clumsy joke, but in the deep, you are a torpedo. Your heart rate slows, your muscles store oxygen in ways humans can only dream of, and your eyes, equipped with flat corneas, become high-definition underwater goggles. You fly through the water at 15 miles per hour, dodging icebergs and snatching krill with surgical precision. But even here, the war continues. You have to watch for orcas. You have to watch for seals. You are a tiny spark of warmth in a vast liquid ice cube, and every second is a gamble. You fill your stomach until you can barely swim, and then you face the hardest part, getting back onto the ice. You build up speed, aiming for the lip of the ice shelf, and launch yourself like a feathered missile, praying you don't land right in the mouth of a waiting predator. Don't let your size fool you. You have small man syndrome written into your DNA. When a skua, a massive predatory seabird, tries to steal your eggs, you don't hide, you charge. You'll take on a bird twice your size, a seal, or even a confused human researcher with a clipboard. You have no fear, because fear takes up too much energy. You'll even harass an emperor penguin, a bird that towers over you like a feathered skyscraper, just to prove that this specific patch of frozen dirt belongs to you. You are the king of the find out part of find out. You are a gladiator in a tuxedo, and you will fight anything that breathes if it looks at your stones the wrong way. Satellites track your colonies by the brown stains you leave on the white ice. You live in a crowd, but you are not a social creature. You are a solitary soul forced into a collective for survival. But then, something happens. The breeding season ends, the chicks are growing, the sun begins to hang lower on the horizon, casting long, bruised shadows across the ice. And in that small, focused brain of yours, a switch flips. This is the mystery that has haunted explorers for decades. It's the phenomenon of the rogue penguin. While every colony is rushing towards the sea, towards life, towards food, towards the safety of the group, you suddenly stop. You don't look at the ocean. You don't look at the pebbles you fought so hard to steal. You turn your back on everything. In front of you lie the great Transantarctic Mountains. Beyond them is the Polar Plateau, a vast featureless wasteland where the temperature can drop to -80 degrees. It is a place where nothing has lived for millions of years. There is no water, there is no krill, there is only the wind and the ice. Scientists call it behavioral disorientation. They say your internal compass has a glitch, a biological error caused by extreme stress. They've even tried to save birds like you. Researchers have caught rogue penguins on these marches, driven them back to the coast, and released them by the water. And what do? You don't dive into the sea. You don't go back to your colony. You immediately turn back around and continue your march towards the frozen heart of the continent. You aren't lost. You aren't looking for a new home. You are walking towards your certain death. It is a one-way journey into the great white silence. You waddle across glaciers that have stood for eons. You scale frozen peaks that have never seen a footprint. You cross the dry valleys where the wind screams through the rocks like a dying god. You walk for weeks. Your fat reserves disappear. Your muscles begin to burn, then ache, then go numb. Your feathers, once sleek and waterproof, become frosted with rime. Why do you do it? Maybe it's not an error. Maybe, after a lifetime of the screaming, the constant fighting for stones, the shoving at the water's edge, and the endless fear of the leopard seal's teeth, you just had enough. Maybe you decided that you didn't want to be part of the machine anymore. Maybe you wanted to find the only place on Earth where no one can touch you, no one can steal from you, and no one can push you. A place of absolute purity and absolute silence. As you reach the high plateau, the air becomes thin and the stars come out even in the daytime. You are a tiny black silhouette against an infinite field of white. You stop walking. You tuck your head under your flipper, not out of fear, but out of peace. You become a frozen monument to the idea that even the smallest creature can choose its own exit. You aren't a victim of biology. You are a pioneer of the void. You are an Adelie penguin. To the world, you are a cute bird on a postcard. To your neighbors, you are a stone thief and a brawler. To the leopard seal, you are a meal. But to the universe, you are something else entirely. You are a spark of defiance in a world of ice. You are the feathered outlaw who lived by his own rules and died on his own terms. You lived a life of chaos, but you found your own silence. You are the king of the ice, the thief of the stones, and the lonely explorer of the infinite white. And in the end, that is more than most humans can ever say. Farewell, little gladiator. The mountains are waiting.